Now, we got some hilarious news to report.
Uh-oh.
Your favorite Congresswoman and mine, JB, AOC.
Why you gotta do me like that, bro?
Nah, AOC just got unendorsed by DSA.
All right,
You
I'm
know,
out.
yeah, you know you're doing bad. Speaking of being left, you know you're doing bad whenever DSA.
She done did it now.
Yeah.
If you get DSA to say goodbye, well, you know you messed up.
Look, I'm trying to tell you, y'all don't know how bad DSA is. Some of y'all, if you just started paying attention, boy, they might as well be Democrats. A lot of people actually literally call them like they're just like the Democrats of America. I don't know where they get that socialist from, but they might as well be Democrats because they're gonna do whatever the Democrats tell them to do. But you got to do something pretty. You got to piss them off, or they have read the room and have realized that you are not who you thought you were, and now they have the green light to hold you accountable, which is what we're seeing in the media, which is what we're also seeing in a lot of these organizations. They're like, ooh, we get to pretend like we're honest actors again. Let's go ahead and jump on top of this, right? We've seen it with Gaza. We've seen it with Joe Biden. And I think that we'll be seeing this for the rest of the election cycle until it's time for them to be good Democrats again. But here it says on Sunday, June 23rd, the DSA National Political Committee voted to endorse Representative Ocasio Cortez so long as she fulfills the following conditions: publicly opposes all funding to Israel, including the Iron Dome, participates regularly in DSA Federal Socialists in Office Committee, publicly opposes all criminalization of anti-Zionism, such as bills advancing the IHRA definition, which conflates criticism of Israel with anti-Zionism, and publicly supports BDS, which is the boycott, divest, and sanction to end Israeli settler colonialism. Well, they shouldn't have endorsed her at all because she already voted to fund the Iron Dome. So I don't know why. Like, that probably shouldn't have ever been an endorsement. And it says that the initial endorsement request was considered upon request of New York City DSA Steering Committee. Earlier this week, the NPC received a request from the NYC DSA Steering Committee to withdraw the endorsement because it took place after the New York Democratic primary and they did not expect a conditional endorsement or feel it was strategic. What did I just say? I said, yeah, we're going to go ahead and make ourselves look like we on the right side of history again. It's not strategic to get behind Biden. It's not strategic to get behind Israel. I don't know why they keep pretending it is. Because we have not seen enough evidence of AOC meeting these conditions, and at the request of the NYC DSA Steering Committee, the NPC is withdrawing our conditional endorsement of Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, although she will remain endorsed by our New York City chapter. In the last several months, thousands of DSA members provided input about the prospect of a national endorsement through town halls, meetings, and engagement in their chapters discussions. AOC was invited to speak at a member forum. Many members have supported a national endorsement, while at the same time demanding that AOC demonstrate a higher level of commitment to Palestinian liberation, self-determination, and the immediate end to the heinous genocide in Gaza committed by Israel that aligns with the DSA's positions and expectations of a socialist in office. We recognize that AOC has taken many courageous positions on Palestine, such as co-sponsoring several House resolutions, 3103, 786, 496, naming Israel's genocide, as well as eventually, right? As well as opposing House Resolution 894. However, members have raised their concerns regarding a number of her votes, including a vote in favor of House Resolution 888, conflating opposition to Israel's right to exist with anti-Semitism. AOC also co-signed a press release on April 20th, 2024 that supports strengthening the Iron Dome and other defense systems. She didn't only vote to sign a press release, she actually voted to strengthen the Iron Dome. I don't know why everybody just kind of keeps forgetting that. Finally, AOC recently hosted, this is what killed it. Finally, AOC recently hosted a public panel with leaders from the Jewish Council for Public Affairs lobbyists for the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. On this panel, she conflated anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism and condemned boycotting Zionist institutions. This sponsorship is a deep betrayal to all those who've risked their welfare to fight Israeli apartheid and genocide through political and direct action in recent months and decades in the past. So there you have it, people. AOC, she ain't even Democrat, bro. I literally just tweeted this out today. I said it's crazy. We're at a position now where not just with the Israel and Palestine situation, but with Biden, where like the Democratic elite are brave enough to come out against Biden. And the ones who ran on challenging the Democratic elite are too cowardly to challenge Biden in his war, not only just in not only just the genocide in Gaza, but the war in Ukraine.
You know, it's funny. Has the DSA endorsed anybody like Dr. Cornel West or Dr. Jill Stein?
No. And in 2020 or 2016, excuse me, they had the opportunity to endorse Dr. Jill Stein, and there was a lobby trying to get it to happen, and they refused because they didn't want to mess up their standing with the Democratic Party.
Okay. Because there's also another press release from DSA talking about DSA statement on 2024 election, drop out Biden. That came out on June 28th. Mm-hmm. My thing is if you don't want to endorse AOC, then why not endorse somebody that's in a third party that opposes Israeli apartheid and genocide? Why not endorse them who are not endorsing this extermination of the Palestinian people? Why stick with a party where you have a whole bunch of turncoats that are actually still endorsing and funding this extermination? I'm starting to use the word extermination more because it's more appropriate. Because a lot of people are using genocide and now starting to lose the sting. I'm using the word extermination.
Which is crazy, by the way. Right? It's crazy that we've said the word genocide so much, and now we got to be like, it's an extermination. Like, if y'all understand that, then like if genocide is too soft, apparently people don't get it. But go ahead.
Yeah. So why isn't DSA endorsing an anti-extermination candidate? Because the thing is, like, they're saying, oh, they want Joe Biden to drop out, but that doesn't mean they're leaving the Democratic Party. They just want Joe Biden.
Say it again, JB. Say it again. Say it again.
So my question is, where's the integrity? See, here's my thing. They're trying to keep their integrity when people like me, they don't have any integrity at all. Because if they actually had the integrity, they would drop the Democratic Party like third period French and start going to another party that actually is substantively better on the issues, even though that party may not have as good of a chance for the White House. But here's the crazy part. When Bernie Sanders was running in 2016, 2020, how much did DSA's numbers expand when Bernie Sanders was running?
Boy, listen. People forget Bernie Sanders was a bank. Now, 2016, 2020, especially 2020, but it started in 2016. And once again, I'm not speaking from hearsay. For people that do not know, I was in the shit. I don't know how I was there. I was involved. People got rich. That Bernie was a bank. The reason that if you were a leftist and you didn't come out, or if you were even independent and you didn't come out and endorse Bernie right away, if you didn't do that, people came after you. Do you know why? Because you're messing with their money. Okay. His rallies weren't rallies, they were rock shows.
They were.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like that. It was, you can make so much money off of being part of Bernie Sanders' campaign. It's ridiculous. DSA got paid. What's that? The climate change group. The one with the kids.
Yeah, I know.
They kind of faded into obscurity recently because they got exposed after endorsing Biden. But Sunrise
Sunrise.
Revolution?
Sunrise.
Sunrise movement is, yeah. Sunrise. They got paid. The Working Families Party got paid. I ended up, and they were actually an honest group before 2016. That's what's crazy about the Working Families Party. I worked for them in New York while I was working with the Bernie Sanders campaign. It was like a separate thing, but like it was a big beef within the Working Families Party because they used Bernie to get rich, but then to keep favor with, because a lot of Democrats decided to donate to different organizations because they liked Bernie, but they were still Democrats. So in order to keep those donors, whenever push came to shove, Working Families ended up, oh no, actually, I'm lying. In 2016, they actually decided not to endorse anybody because it was so split. They were like, nah, we can't do it. But the in 2016 specifically, they should have endorsed Bernie because they raised all this money from him, but they didn't want to piss off the new Democratic donors by endorsing him over Hillary. So like he was a bank, and a lot of people cashed in, including DSA.
So with that being said, why hasn't the DSA endorsed Dr. Jill Stein or Dr. Cornel West or Claudia de la Cruz? And here's the thing. They have enough pull that because a lot of people go, well, third parties, they just can't win. Here's the question. Why don't y'all make it happen?
Or like, how can we not? Why can't they win? That's the other question I'd be wanting to know. Well, I know why, but
yes, but here's my gripe. You got these big ass channels that have 3, 4, 5, 6, 700,000 subs that could be pushing somebody outside of the duopoly that actually has more of an agreement and actually is more pro-worker than the rest of these yahoos who are in the Democratic Republican parties. And yet they don't want to give him that much attention because what? Because we need to avert disaster by going with Joe Biden, even though a lot of the disaster that actually happened was because of Joe Biden.
Is it right?
And then people go, well, we just want to stick with the Democratic Party because they're the devil we do know. The devil that you do know gave you Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, the Pied Piper strategy, which was given, thankfully, released to us by people like Julian Assange. But that's how we know that we got Donald Trump because of the Democrats. See, this is the thing. They all work together. Why are you still stuck with them? Because if you really want to talk about how bad Donald Trump is, okay, fine. But who's to blame? And this is what gets me mad about people who fearmonger. Oh my God, the Republicans. Oh my God, good cop, bad cop. Get away, get out of the room. Leave the vote alone.
It ain't even good cop, bad cop. It's like more like one's like it's like a psychopath and a sociopath. Like just a sociopath, a little bit more smooth with it. And you know what I'm saying? Like he'll gonna tell me everything I need to hear and want to hear, before they do this, the result is eventually the same. Like,
you know what I like about you, Niko? You know what I like about you?
What's up?
I make an analogy and you add to it.
I'm a force multiplier, man.
It's like I make the Philly cheesesteak and you're like, let me add some mushrooms and some onions to that thing.
Hey, look, won't be anything.
That's what I love about you.
Won't be extra. If I'm gonna be anything, I'm gonna be extra. Shit. Nah, but 100% agree, man. It's when we know that we could actually build something outside of the Democratic Party and the Republican parties, and they can't use the popularity or lack thereof of a candidate, because I watched it happen and I was a part of it in 2016. I watched Bernie Sanders go from 2% to, we all know he got cheated. They had to do, they didn't even see him coming.
No.
They didn't see him coming, which is how they got caught cheating. Because they got sloppy, because it was unexpected, because they had never seen, the concept of independent media was new. So there's that. Not completely and totally new, but like it was like the Young Turks, Kyle had his audience, Sam Cedar had his audience, but most of the independent media at the time got behind Bernie. Anyone who was coming up through independent media at the time, if they weren't behind Trump, they came up because they just were so inspired by what they saw from Bernie's campaign that they felt like they had to do their part. And then we witnessed someone go from 2% to breaking records. So y'all can't tell me that it's not possible to build out. It's y'all don't have the profit motive. Y'all got, now like a lot of those people who got famous during the Bernie Sanders campaign, they work for certain groups, certain people. They get checks get sent in the mail by certain bosses that they now can't allow a Jill Stein. Can't even talk about what happened. Like everybody wants to know what happened with Jill Stein after 2016. And, she was gracious enough to talk about it on my show. Jill didn't disappear because she wanted to disappear. Jill disappeared because she ran such a successful campaign with Ajama Baraka and then was willing to challenge the elections afterwards. After everybody was screaming election fraud in one form or another, she was one of the only ones willing to challenge. And the Democratic Party spent the next 4 years or 5 years really trying to bankrupt her because of it, and trying to bankrupt the Green Party because of it, because of how successful she was.
Yeah.
And fortunately, she had to suffer in silence because, unfortunately, like a lot of the members of the Green Party didn't even want to help her because they just wanted to take advantage of what she did, and then wanted like just because that's just the way of people and the way of politics. Whenever she was of no further use, they didn't want to participate in bringing to attention what she was dealing with and going through. But yeah, they tried to bankrupt her because of her success. Now imagine if you didn't have people like Anna Kasparian smearing Jill Stein during that election. People like TYT, Sam Cedar, Emma Vigilant, and everybody had gotten behind her, and she would have had the support to not only take the momentum that she had gained in 2016 and move forward, but also overcome the challenges that the Democratic Party put in front of her because of how successful she was. Because you don't put those challenges in front of somebody if you don't view them as a threat.
Niko, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
If the Republicans are so much a threat, why don't they put this much energy behind doing what they did to Jill Stein to the Republicans?